Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus came to his native place and taught the people in their synagogue. They were astonished and said, "Where did this man get such wisdom and mighty deeds? Is he not the carpenter's son? Is not his mother named Mary, and his brothers James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas? And are not his sisters all with us? Where did this man get all this?" And they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, "A prophet is not without honor except in his native place and in his own house." And he did not work many mighty deeds there because of their lack of faith. The Gospel of the Lord.
Today we celebrate the feast of St. Joseph the Worker, a feast that Pope Pius XII instituted in 1955, long before even my memory. He instituted the feast because he believed it was important to underline the fact that the dignity of man in doing work is to also participate in the redemptive act of Christ. And if you go back into the Garden of Eden, way back in the book of Genesis, God made man to work. And his work was about putting all of creation to the service of giving glory to God, to somehow use creation to give glory to God. Christ himself brings to us the apex of creation coming to the glory of God by his redemptive act of bringing us all into salvation, offering salvation for the entire human race, who should be about the work of encouraging and enhancing the plan of God's redemption for us. St. Joseph, a carpenter, reveals how this work is to be done. That in human labor and in the raising of a family, Christ is to be welcomed into the home. A prophet is not welcomed in his own home, but he was welcomed in Joseph's house, as Jesus should be welcomed in our house. And then to use human labor and our careers to welcome Christ into everything we do. I was thinking for a bit this morning, for example, Dean Kamen, who's right in our backyard, Dean Kamen invented a water system to purify water for underprivileged countries. Can you imagine that? One of the most important needs in these countries, probably the number one cause of death, is bad water in the places where he would have these filtration machines brought. But on the other hand, work can also be used to destroy the human condition. Because in the same countries, industrial developers come in and operate factories and take the water supplies to service their factories and literally dry up wells of all the people around them. And so that technology can either serve humanity for its advancement, or it can hurt humanity, even at the appearance of advancement. Another place where that happens is you just take a look at your Apple iPhones. They changed everything in June of 2007. They put so much technology right into the palm of our hands. I have a first generation iPhone on my desk. It's a paperweight. But so when the Apple iPhone came out, it became this gateway to technology, but also a gateway to media. And so although we can access all kinds of media for our enhancement, we can also be destructive with the same media in the way we treat each other on Facebook and Twitter, or the way we use video streaming to either hurt ourselves morally or to get educated and be informed. It can serve one of two purposes. It can be about the redemption of Christ, or it can be about the destruction of humanity, and especially the destruction of the soul of humanity. Saint Joseph built his life around Jesus. Saint Joseph represents a mentality and a thinking that should be akin to all Christian families, that the priority of work is to take care of the family and to make sure Christ is welcomed in our house. That's what work should lead to. We've come into such an emphasis on profit and wealth that it seems to be that all of labor is around materialism and acquiring wealth without regard for the wealth of the eternal kingdom. We should never lose sight of that. As students, getting ready to journey into career paths, it's a great thing to think about where your work will lead you and what it'll have you do, and where your work will help you in your eternity.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, quiaque merum isti portare, alleluia, resurrexit sicut dixit, alleluia.